Good morning, everyone. Oh, better get comfy. Right, nice short video. Just want to outline a few things that I'm going to try and put in place and make happen moving forward. So, given I've been extremely consistent with my posting and my posts on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, social media in general, it's obviously given people the ability to reach out to me and see that I'm in a great frame of mind. I'm obviously very clear and concise about my intentions moving forward, and that, I believe I'm now the best version of myself, which gives me the ability to give people the best possible advice I can give, if they come to me for advice, that is, which has happened quite regularly this past 2 weeks. For me, I want to really highlight something, because this has always been a response that I've given prior to coming back to Tasmania from Thailand. Whenever parents, especially, or children themselves, independent of their parents, would reach out to me and ask for advice or guidance, or put questions to me that they would like answers for. And for me, because I didn't have that self-confidence, my self-belief and my self-confidence was shattered by my drug use, by the fact I was still on hard stimulants. Yes, they were prescription drugs. That ain't the point. It affected me in such a way that I lost my confidence and my ability to project my intelligence and all these things, because I felt like shit. I felt like scum. So I want to make something clear. Everyone that I've ever denied advice to, refused to answer questions by way of stating to them, and this has happened to probably 100 people over the last 6 years prior to me coming back from Thailand, especially parents and children. As I said, they would ask me advice on things, and I would simply write back and say, oh, look, I am not a qualified youth worker. I don't have my working with vulnerable people's qualifications, and it'd be inept of me, wrong of me, to give you advice based off of just that, when the reality is this: that was incorrect of me to do, because I was putting my own ego and my own feelings towards myself in front of their desire to get the answers they're looking for to try and better theirs and their children's lives. Thinking back about it makes me feel like shit for doing that, and I want to apologise to everyone that I ever denied advice and denied having conversations with to try and help them through my own lived experiences. However, having said that, moving forward, I've had some discussions with my younger brother, Corey, and yeah, we're going to sit down and have a serious conversation about some things that we're going to try and put in place. And I strongly believe that people are going to be very supportive of this. Some people are going to be critical of it. Some people are going to raise the exact concerns that I used to voice to people coming to me for help. You're not qualified. You are not someone that everyone's going to want to be giving advice to, getting advice from, or to be seen to be giving advice to families, children struggling, families struggling, adults struggling. Because again, I'm not qualified. I don't have certificates. I didn't go to school or university or pass all the requirements that require people to be in a position to work with children, especially vulnerable children, and all these kinds of things. But it's been brought to my attention just recently that so long as I have someone present that does have their WWVP card and qualifications, and they are registered or licensed or qualified to work in that space, I can be present. I can use my voice, I can use my experiences, and so long as I'm not sitting there doing the wrong thing, which is not going to happen. I am so self-aware and self-conscious of the person that I was, and I'm even more self-aware and self-conscious of the person that I now am and the person that I want to be. So I would not give anyone, let alone children, the wrong advice. Like, yes, it may not be everyone else's advice based off their qualifications and their studies and their learning and what they've been taught, I'm speaking from lived experience. So there's a big difference. And I'd like to think that I'm smart enough that when I'm put in a position where someone says, oh, you know, this is my son or my daughter or my family and we're going through this, this and this, or we've gone through this, this and that, I have the ability to think intellectually to make sure that the words that come out of my mouth are not hurtful, harmful, negative, derailing, going to make the child disengage with it, be it whether with me, other specialists, counsellors, qualified people that they may be engaging with outside of having something to do with me. And I stand by that. So for me, it's about highlighting right now to everyone that, yeah, I'm going to be putting some things forward in the next, say, week. And yeah, I really look forward to the response and seeing what people think about it. And hopefully we can get something amazing off the ground so that my lived experiences aren't going to waste. So that it's not just about me getting on social media and YouTube and TikTok and posting these videos talking about my experiences and sharing stories and emotions and being vulnerable on camera. To me, that's powerful and it's educational. But at the end of the day, I can be doing more for people that have found themselves in struggling and challenging positions. And I don't know, I'm just at a point in my life now where I used to think about the world as a whole. I used to think about mainland Australia. I used to think about all these things collectively. This is my home. This is my state, our home, our children, our families, our futures. It's sort of like this for me. With all the issues that we've got going on, and I know this is contradictory to what I just said, but I want to use it as an example. With all the issues that we've got going on in the world, in other countries, in our own country, in other states and territories in Australia that are much bigger than ours, have a lot more people than us, how do you reconcile the fact that with all these failed systems, failed things that are in place to try and help people come out of hardship, whether it be financial hardship, domestic violence, recidivism, which is repeat criminal offending for those that don't know, drug addiction, unemployment rates, low, what do they call it? Sorry, I've already forgotten. Low military enrolment rates, like people wanting to enrol into our defence forces and stuff. How do we reconcile with the fact that if you can't fix things like I just outlined in a place like Tasmania that only has, 550,000 people, 600,000 people, one jail, one detention centre, a couple of remand centres, how are you going to fix it around the world? How are you going to fix it in bigger, more populated, harder to manage, got to come up with more strategic and bigger solutions and systems and facilities and all. If you can't fix it in a place of 500,000 people, when you start isolating the demographics and the numbers around the things I just outlined, unemployment, youth offender rates, recidivism rates, addiction rates, all these things, it doesn't really matter what it is. You can break it down to something simple and say, oh, in the state of Tasmania, people above the age of being eligible to get a learner's licence till 80 when you can't drive anymore or whatever it is, if we have, let's just say 2,500 people, that's a guess, that should hold a licence but they don't, if as a state government or as a state we can't fix that number, if we can't put things in place to fix just that one thing that I just said then to make it simple, how are we going to fix incarceration rates, recidivism rates, unemployment rates, or anything that impacts our state in a negative way? How are we going to fix it if anywhere else in the world and anywhere else in our country, if our state of fucking 600,000 people can't come together and find ways to make this work, make these things work, find better solutions? It's not rocket science. If you can't fix it on a small scale, why even think on a bigger scale and try to fix it in any other state or territory? If you can't put things in place here to fix those things, like little systems and standard operating procedures and alternative options for employment and all the things I just outlined, what chance do they have of making it successful on a larger scale? It's not rocket science. Like, it's just common sense. If you can't fix something with 100 people, don't go adding 10,000 people to it. Don't go adding 100,000 people to it. Don't go adding a whole state to it and saying, oh, this idea, this brilliant idea, let's throw all this money at it. Has it even been tried, true and tested in a small setting to actually get the figures, the statistics, the data to make sure that it's going to work? Do you get me? It's not rocket science. The reason I bring this up is because I've actually been doing a lot of thinking. Like I said, I'm the best version of myself right now. My intelligence, the information I've read, studied, watched and learned, I've retained it now. Now that I don't have any substance in my system, my brain is slowly, it's like it's coming back to me. Everything that I've ever learned on a positive level is coming back to me. And for that reason, I'm going to access it, utilise it, and implement and execute with it. I'm not going to just, think selfishly from now on, because that's not what this is about. I want to see every family struggling. I want to see every person battling with mental illness. I want to see every person that's doing crime. I want to see anyone that's doing anything that's wrecking, affecting or harming theirs and their families' lives live a better life, have better options, make better decisions and get better results. That's what this is about, nothing else. Have a good day everyone and thank you for your time.